What's up, YouTube? Scott Lett here, owner of Iron City Power Washing. Hope you guys are ready for the holidays, ready to take a break. Today is actually my last day of work, and then I will be off. The whole team will be off until 2024. It's a much-needed break. We've been non-stop going all year, and we deserve to take a break, and we're just filling up our January already. So, but a couple things I want to talk about. One announcement is we just got a new office. I'm excited about that. We had a shop and office about a year ago that we would keep our equipment at, but the office wasn't the nicest. So, but that got converted to a coffee shop. We lost that. So we've been just kind of parking our rigs at our houses, and I've just kind of been working from home, going to coffee shops, libraries. So we needed an office to call our own, somewhere I can go to and just get things done. You know, you really can't talk on the phone in a coffee shop. It's when the kids are at home and they know daddy's home, it's hard to get things done. So found an office. I'm excited to have a place to go to, one place to go to, and just be able to work. You know, the back end stuff is really where the work is. You know, the field stuff, I mean, that's the easy part in my opinion. But staying organized, hitting milestones, doing estimates, phone calls, invoices, contracts, all those things, man, there's a lot of work involved in that stuff. But anyways, today's my last day. I'm looking forward to 2024. But what I want to talk about today is a couple things that, one being something I've been wanting to talk about for a while, and then another thing just kind of came out of nowhere. I went and ran an errand for my wife and came across something that happened when I first started. And I'm kind of embarrassed to share, but it really taught me some lessons, okay? So don't be afraid. Lesson number one, don't be afraid of failure as a business owner, okay? Like, there's going to be things that you do to the very best of your ability, right? And you're going to fail. But it's always a learning experience, right? It's only going to equip you for the next thing you're going to face. So I feel like when guys get started and they face failure, pushback in their planning, you know, there's a major setback with the machine, I think they just fold and that's it. All right, you can't have that mentality. Like, failing at something is inevitable, but you got to push through it, okay? So when I first got started, this is when I still had the 3.3 gallon per minute machine. I got a call it was one of my first commercial jobs at a neighborhood called Edenton. And it was actually a buddy of mine who lived there, and he got a price from another company. And I was like, you know what, I'll just do it for that. I had no idea about pricing commercially. I did not have the right equipment. It was a lot of sidewalks and a bunch of individual patios. There were things that we didn't even look at that were included. So I ended up getting kind of run over a little bit and doing more work than what I originally thought. I had to get some friends out there. My business partner was someone that he was pressure washing on the side. I brought him out there to help me. This is before we're partners. It probably took us a week and a half. Now with what we know and our equipment, we could probably get it done in 2 days. It took us a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks, and I'm pretty sure I lost money on the job. It was an absolute disaster. We didn't use any chemical. I didn't know what SH was. And looking back on it, like, it was a complete failure. Then I was just happy to get paid for it. I mean, we got some backlash from getting paid. Some patios were missed because we didn't talk about it. It was a complete disaster. So the lesson I learned there is, like, have your own pricing, okay? Make sure you get the full scope of work. Get it all in a contract and signed. Like, don't just take on extra work that wasn't talked about. Make sure, you know, you're going to get paid. And make sure you have a good plan set in place and you have the proper equipment to do the work, okay? And if you don't, either get someone in the area to help you who has the proper equipment so you do make some money, or just pass on it. That was a job I definitely should have passed on. Well, about half a mile down the road is an apartment complex. And they called me. And I don't know how these people were getting my number. It was, oh my goodness. There was one water source, and I was running a direct drive machine, same machine, 3.3 gallon per minute machine. They had all this concrete they wanted done, all the buildings, all the rails. It was probably a $30,000 job now that I know at a price, and I did it for $10,000. I got to building 4 or 5, and I couldn't do it anymore. I didn't have the equipment, I didn't have the knowledge, I didn't know what SH was. So that was back-to-back jobs, guys. And I got paid for the buildings I did, and I made them look good, but it was just taking way too long. I mean, it was just an absolute disaster. And I was just like, I remember thinking like, is this really how it's going to be? But I dug deep and just got back in the residential world. I was just told myself I'm not ready for this, and eventually got better equipment, got a better mindset, started doing research on the commercial world, and now these jobs, we could do, in no time, get what we want for them. We're equipped for them. So what I'm saying, guys, is like, there's going to be times early on that you're going to bite off more than you can chew, and you're going to fail. But let that be a learning experience. Don't see that as like, oh man, like I'm embarrassed, I failed, I'm letting my family down. No, look, anybody who owns a business, who's an entrepreneur, even the guys on these YouTube channels who have these very successful businesses, they failed at something at some point in their business. Okay, and if they say they didn't, they're lying. All right, there is failures. And even as a guy who's going into year number 6, we're going after the $1 million mark. There's going to be failures. We're going to mess up. We're going to kill plants. We're going to piss off some customers. They're going to make us upset. We're going to have trouble getting paid. Equipment's going to break. Our kids are going to get sick in the middle of a huge, project. We're going to lose days when it rains. Project managers are not going to be on the same page. It's going to fall back on us. Dude, there is a whole list of things. There's so many different variables when it comes to owning a business, and you just have to face the adversity and just bulldog through it. You just got to be a dog, man. You just got to just put your nose down, put your head down, and just fight through it. And I'm telling you, if you can do that, you have that mentality of perseverance, and you just fight through it, and you get some momentum going, you get some good accounts going, it is a very good life, and it is a very fulfilling career. And you'll get to the point where you have the right equipment, the right help, the right mentality. You have funds coming in to get better equipment. Things start rolling, and those first 2 years that you just were literally throwing punches to get through, it'll be worth it. You'll look back and you'll be like, man, I'm glad I did not give up. And then you'll be making the money you want to make, and you'll be living the life you've been wanting to live. So don't be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid of the hard times, because they're coming. It's going to happen. So that's that. The second thing I wanted to talk about was negotiating. All right, so especially in the residential world, a lot of people are going to see your price and want to negotiate with you. Okay, so for you guys who are just getting started, fine, sure. Like, you're going to have to negotiate your prices sometimes to get jobs. Just make sure you're not like dropping your price, to a detrimental point to where you're not making money. All right, I remember one instance is when we first started washing roofs, like just brand new to the roof washing game. And I think I priced a roof for like, I don't know, $1,500. And I was just so excited to even get into the roof washing that I told my wife this earlier, that I walked away closing the job at $800. I left $700 on the table just to get the job. Yes, we made money, but I walked away thinking, I was proud of myself at first and excited. And then after we did the job, I was like, this is a $1,500 job. And I did it for $800. I came down $700 off the price. I was like, that can never happen again. And as you become a business owner, as you become confident in yourself and your ability and just the value in your company, you'll be able to express that value to your customers to where you don't have to talk about prices. You can share with them your value, what you bring to the table, why they should hire you, rather than talking about numbers. Like today, for instance, this is kind of what I'm going to here. I priced a roof for $1,500. Okay, it was a very steep roof, a lot of different pitches. We would have to get on the roof, and it would require a good bit of chemical. So, you know, at $1,500, we would profit probably $1,000 off this job. It would take a full crew to come out there. One guy on the roof, 2 guys on property protection. It's a very nice house. So there's just a lot involved in these roof washes. Okay, so that's why we charge premium prices, and I'm straight up with that about that with the customers. Okay, and I told her the price, and she countered. She was like, she kind of looked down. Whenever they look down, that's never good. And she was like, well, how about, could you do this? Is that the best you could do? And I didn't answer her. I went straight to, so how'd you hear about us? Oh, you came highly recommended. And I remind them of why they called us, because most of our calls these days are referrals or hot leads, people that are friends of someone we worked for. And I remind them of why they called us. Okay, they want to work with us. You just have to remind them of that. And then I just went to, explaining our process, explaining how we clean the roof, property protection. I have a portfolio of pictures on my phone of roof washes that we have done. And, because a lot of times they know that roof washing is a thing, but they don't understand the process behind it and all that it entails if you do it right. Okay. So if you explain to them all those things step by step, to why it's worth $1,500, they will better understand. They may not still like the $1,500, but they'll better understand, and then if you do negotiate, after you explain that, how about $1,400? Oh, okay. And then maybe saving $100 is worth it to them. But my rule of thumb now, being an established company, I'm not going to take more than $100 off my original estimate. And if they can't do that, I'm going to pass on the job. Okay. And also if you're explaining yourself and they don't see the value in your company and your ability, and you'll get to the point where you can see these people and they're just worried about is that number in their head. They're not listening to you, because there's going to be a lot of times that you'll be talking, but none of your words are being heard. And I don't want to work for those people, because there's not a ground or of respect there, and you're trying to build that bridge of trust, but they don't want to. I don't want those people in my book of business. And you'll learn those type of people, because there's been customers, like I'll go out there and try to get to know them, ask them questions. They'll give you one-word answers. They just don't care. All they want to do is you show up, do the job. They're going to try to penny pinch you to death. And if they're not willing to talk to you, be cordial towards you, I don't want to work for you. And if people watch that, it doesn't bother me. There's hundreds of thousands of people in Birmingham, and plus, like I said, we're commercial, so we definitely don't negotiate commercial work. Absolutely not. That's just a whole nother video. But for you guys who are willing to negotiate your prices, instead of jumping straight to the prices, and going there, try to turn it to your value, like what you can bring to the table, why they should hire you. And be honest about it. We clean roofs every week. This is how we do it. Here's some pictures. We protect your property. All these things that are involved in building value, to support your price point. That is huge. And I didn't even answer her question. That's how I answered her question. And then she went back, so what can you do? And I said $1,400, and she's like, I'm going to talk to my husband and let you know. So I'm pretty confident we're going to get it. I haven't heard anything yet, but she also said she's going to get other prices. And you know what? There's going to be someone come out there and say, hey, we're going to do this for $700, half of our price. And that's fine. And a lot of the times when that happens, they'll call us back and say, hey, we should have went with you. I had a customer about 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was a lady that we've cleaned her deck 3 or 4 times, and she loves us, but her husband's like, why do you keep using those guys? You call them every quarter. Can you get someone cheaper? So she hired a guy to save $100, $100. And he went out there and blew all the paint off her deck, splintered the wood. She literally called me crying and asked me if I can come out there and finish the job, and if I can get her in touch with someone to repaint the deck. I did all those things for her, got her in contact with the painter, met him out there, explained to him the situation, got her taken care of. I have a forever customer. All right, so building value, guys, is so important. And I was real bad about saying, oh man, like getting frustrated with people. Just saying, man, you know, we have expenses, we have SH, I have to pay an employee, we have insurance, like that's why it's so expensive, like why can't you understand that? You know, people don't want to hear that. It's not professional to say those things. Try to stay on the path of building value, of how you do things and who you are, and pretty much make it really hard for them to say no to you. And stick to your price points. And if you go down a little bit. All right, don't drop down $700 like I did and lose money. I mean, that's just not how you should do things. So don't be afraid to fail. You're gonna fail. See it as a learning experience, grow from it, and learn how to negotiate, okay? Learn how to negotiate with value that you bring to the table. Be confident in your process. Be confident in who you are as a business owner. Use your brand that you've built in your area, and go close some jobs. All right, Scott Litt, Iron City Power Washing. Hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas, Happy New Year, and I'll see you guys in 2024.